guys. So I just want to do a couple graphs on the board to show you entry and exit into the market. Okay, so here we're starting a long run equilibrium. Right, so our market graph is the same as what we've always seen. Right, so we have the intersection of supply and demand gives us our equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. Okay, then here we have our representative firm. Right, so the here's that marginal revenue curve, which is horizontal at price. Right, we have marginal cost, average total cost. The intersection of marginal cost and marginal revenue gives us profit maximizing output. So I just called it little Q star. Okay, so if the market's in equilibrium, then everything's good, right? So we're saying here zero economic profit, so a normal profit. But what happens if something changes? Right, so if we have an increase in demand, then what we're going to see is this demand curve shift to the right. So there's D1. So let's say we had an increase in incomes or preferences shifted towards the good that's in question. Okay, so here is the new intersection of supply and demand, right? So this gives us a higher price. So I'm just going to call this P short run because it's going to be the price in the short run. It's still an equilibrium price, so I guess I'll put a star there. Okay, and then here is our equilibrium quantity in the short run. Okay, so what happens when the price rises? Well, then that shifts this marginal revenue curve up. So I'll call it MR short run. Okay, now notice that nothing happens to the cost curves, they don't change. So when we look here, we have the intersection of marginal cost and marginal revenue. This gives us Q star for the short run, and notice that price is higher than average total cost, right? So in the short run, price is greater than average total cost, which means we have an economic profit. Okay, and the size of that profit, we can take this, extend this over, and this area right here, that's our total profit, okay? So what happens in this scenario then? Well, in the short run, all the firms that are already in the market are going to be earning this positive economic profit, right? Firms that are not in the market, they're going to be looking at this and they're going to be wanting a piece of this, right? So they're like, I want some of that, but in the short run, the number of firms is fixed, so they can't enter. So what happens when they finally get a chance to enter is that since there are economic profits, more firms are going to enter, and that is going to increase supply, right? Because remember that one of the shift factors of supply was the number of firms in a market. So we're going to see that entry occurs and the supply curve is going to shift to the right, and it doesn't all happen at once, you know, rather it's kind of it's a process, but we'll just go ahead and jump to the conclusion. All right, so here we go. So we'll call this S1, right, and then here we have the new intersection, S1 and D1, and notice that it's the same price as before. We have a greater quantity, and what happens over here with the firm is that our marginal revenue curve falls back down. So in the long run, we don't have this profit occurring. Let's get rid of this. It's a little messy. Okay. All right, we're still cost curve back on here. Okay. And we'll call this Q star 1. Right? So in the long run, price is equal to average total cost, right? So we have a normal profit, and we end up with a greater market quantity, right? Because we have more firms in the market, but each firm is producing the same as before, and they're all just earning a normal profit. So basically, when we have profit in the short run, then we see entry occur, and as entry occurs, it pushes that price down until we get to the point where we're simply making a normal profit. At that point, there's no need for any other firms to enter, and so that's it.